happy with that. And there's his coach. And as we see the slow motion replay, we can see these fine Thomas Flair gymnastic elements displayed here, moving from the end of the pommel up to handstand and finally finishing. We didn't see the mistake earlier on in his exercise where he touched the horse. And there's his score, a 9.2. And the next one up, number 23, Jo Young Sam from Korea, starts his exercise on the end of the horse, fine double leg circles, changing direction, moves round from one end of the horse to the other, a slight opening of the legs, continues with his pendulum swings, slight touch of the horse there, onto the end and finishing with a fine turn but a slight adjustment before landing. And here we see the slow motion replay of the scissor movements, and finally his finish onto the end, then back onto the other end, and finally finishing. And there's his score, a high 9.5, very good score for that pommel exercise. And the next gymnast up from Canada is Lorne Bobkin, preparing himself for the start of the exercise. Beautiful clear double leg circles. This tall gymnast from Canada performing so far without any mistakes. And there he goes into his scissors or pendulum swings into the fine Thomas Flairs, up to handstand and finishing off. Very, very good exercise. He'll be quite pleased with that and relieved to do the exercise without mistakes. And as we watch the replay, we see the double leg circles, changing direction, moving from one part of the horse to the other, on to the end, back into the middle, slight bend of the legs when he transfers from his double leg circles, and there's his final score, a 9.6. And next up, number 20 from Japan, Nikoro Keto, hitting the horse slightly on that turn in the middle, struggling a little bit to maintain the momentum, but has the necessary strength to continue and finish his exercise. Quite a good exercise, but lacking in amplitude and a little bit of fight to get the exercise completed. So we're just awaiting his score as we see the slow motion replay. And there we see him hitting the top of the handle with his legs, but still manages to continue his swing. Very difficult combination of double leg circles on one handle and immediately moving from the middle to the end. There's his score, a fine 9.4. He'll be quite pleased with that after brushing the horse with his legs. And the next gymnast up from USA is Chris Luggs. And this young gymnast has really improved. Good all-round gymnast. It's a fine change, hop change in the middle of his exercise, and finishing with very difficult legs together to handstand, and a very good exercise. He'll be quite pleased with that as he goes over and his coach congratulates him. From USA, Bob Lurks. And here we see the difficult finish on the end to continue his exercise into his pendulum swings with a half turn, preparing himself for the finish of the exercise. Fine handstand with legs together. And there's his score, a 9.625. He'll be very pleased with that very high score. And next from Australia, Tim Lees, this very tall young gymnast, showing beautiful Thomas flares and changing direction, moving from the end to the middle to the far end and straight into his double leg circles, and showing good flexibility in his scissor movements. Very good exercise, well executed, showing lots of amplitude. He'll be very pleased with that young Australian boy, Tim Lees from Australia. And here we see the Thomas flares travelling from the end to the centre to the far end and back again along the horse. Very difficult combination of Thomas flare movements. Shows good style and technique. One double leg circle on one handle. Good flexibility in his scissor movements. And there's his score, very high so far, 9.725. Good exercise. And next up for China is Lai Jing. And here's another fine exercise in the team and all-round competition. This young Chinese boy got the gold medal, and now he's in the final of the pommel horse and performing with good style, moving from end to end and showing magnificent flexibility and a fine handstand turn to finish. Excellent routine from Li Jing. And here we see this young gymnast performing this very fine, precise balance and technique in his exercise. And there's his score, a very high 9.9 to come up top on the pommel horse, winning the gold medal for China. Very, very difficult exercise. And next up for China is Li Ji, preparing himself, starting on the end of the pommel horse, straight into Thomas flares with travels, then double leg circles, then travelling in the double leg circle position, forward and backwards. Very, very difficult. Good style, rhythm, showing good technique throughout the exercise, preparing himself for his finish, onto the end, and a fine handstand off. Very good exercise. So let's see what score he comes up with. Being congratulated by his previous competitor, scoring a 9.9. Let's see what Li Ji comes up with in the final mark as we watch the slow motion replay. Fine travels in the Thomas Flair position, and here we see moving up the horse, facing forwards and back up the horse again. Very difficult combination here. Just a slight opening of the legs there as we watch the slow motion. At normal speed we wouldn't probably see that. And there's the score, a high 9.8 for China. And there we see the final result, the gold medal going to Li.